Hello and welcome round to my house for a new series of James Martin's Saturday Morning. Yes, me, Ralph, Cooper and the crew are back from our summer break and we're going to be all here on ITV all the way through till next June to kickstart your weekend with some brand new recipes, some of the best chefs in the business and some brilliant celebrity guests. So what are we doing out here? Let's get inside and let's get cooking. Morning. Are you coming in then? Good morning and welcome to the show. We've got a real special one lined up for you today. We'll be joined in the kitchen by a woman who's been awarded gold discs for her music and won gold medals for her gardens. Yes, the amazing Kim Wilde will be here. She's back in the house as well. Me and my old friend Paul Ainsworth will be exploring Poole Harbour in another classic clip from my food adventures. And Chef James Tanner will be here as well. All the way from Plymouth or Kent, wherever his restaurant is and wherever he's coming from. Doncaster's finest, Alicia Vasey will be here. I can almost hear her now at the top of the M1 starting off. She'll be dropping by to tell us about fantastic free food you can forage this autumn. And don't miss this week's Little Masterclass, when I'll be paying tribute to the legendary chef Alistair Little and recreating one of his many, many iconic dishes. But first, I'm here in the kitchen. With this new series, we've got an old friend of ours on the show. It's the chef behind Norfolk's award-winning Morstan Hall. It's Galton Blackiston! What are you cooking for us then?
I'm doing lobster from Norfolk. It's been a good year for lobsters.
Right.
So I'm going to dazzle you with a lobster dish.
Starting things off as where we mean it, right.
If you allow me to.
But apart from lobster, I'm going to be doing this sort of variant of a tartiflette, which is, it's normally done with sliced potatoes. I've got some cooked new potatoes over here. I've got some lovely bacon, I've got thyme, I've got garlic, we've got onions, we've got cream. But we've got this amazing selection of cheeses that we're going to get into in a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do to get this started is get on with the onions and the bacon. So this is kind of one of your dishes as well. You like this sort of stuff, don't you?
This sort of thing.
A little bit of oil in here. There we go. We've got some bacon lardons over here. I always like to use the dry cured bacon. I don't know about you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I find the wet cured ones, you just end up with a lot of foam in the pan.
Totally agree.
And also you paid for water, technically, are you, really? So a little bit of onions, and we can slice these through as well, like that. So it's been a busy time for you over the summer with your fish and chip shop and everything else.
It's been an incredibly busy time and a hot time. I've never known a summer like it.
Yeah.
Ever. I've never
How's that coping with the I mean, we're introducing producers. We're going to introduce you to another one of the new series as well, because I think it's important to keep this going. But how's it been for, obviously, production of vegetables around that neck of the woods? That must be incredibly difficult.
The farmers are moaning because, you know, we all want a 55mm minimum size potato for chips. Yeah. And they're all saying they're small because there's not been enough water in the ground, there's not been all that sort of thing.
It's also difficult getting the harvest out of the ground as well.
Yeah. And everything's gone up in price.
Yeah.
Everything has gone up in price. I can honestly, I mean, I remember 1976, but I can't remember it being as dry as this one. Yeah, so it's all going to be a challenge.
It's going to be very, very different, isn't it? So anyway, look, we've got our onions cooking away with our lardons, and I'm going to sort of add this. I'm going to sweat it all down, really. Add this with a nice little bit of garlic to go in here as well. But like I said, we're talking about producers. And I've got this amazing cheese in front of me, so we're going to find out more about this produce. We're going to go to Castle Douglas in Scotland to speak to Wilma Finlay from the Ethical Dairy. She's there. The sun is shining in Scotland. Look at that.
Is that the sun shining in
That
Scotland?
is Scotland, sunshine. Welcome to the show, Wilma.
Well, thank you very much, James. The sun was shining yesterday.
The sun was shining yesterday. It's always shining in Scotland. You know, I love that part of the world. It's amazing. Love your country as well. So tell me about the dairy then, because this is something that's been going on for centuries, really. When did you take it over? Before we get onto it, it changed, but how long's the dairy been going and whereabouts are you in Scotland?
So we're in southwest Scotland, as you said, near Castle Douglas. The Finlay family have had it for almost 100 years, but obviously there's been dairy farming going on there for a lot longer than that. The cheese was started to be made on the farm in around the 1860s, and then the Finlay stopped it in about 1970 because cheese had become so commercialised and mechanised. So the artisan, small-scale cheesemakers went out of business, more or less. We restarted that about 10 years ago. But we diversified the farm, it's almost 30 years now. And we converted the farm to organic about 20 years ago. But we're 100% pasture fed. We're credited as being antibiotic free. We really focus on biodiversity and as well as being organic. But the thing that people remember most is that we leave the dairy calves with their mothers for 5 or 6 months, when the conventional system will take them off maybe within 24 hours of birth. So it's a big, big change.
How does that, is that the reason why they do that, the reason why you're doing it and the difference what they're doing it is that do you get less milk because of it? But then obviously you get better welfare. You must use less feed, I take it. So there's all about a balance where you get less of one, you get more of the other thing, don't you?
Exactly. So it is all about balance. So we get less stress in the cows. We milk them less often because the calves are milking them. So we milk them once a day. The calves grow much more quickly.
Do they?
And we don't need so many replacements into the herd because the cows are living longer. So that makes the whole thing much more affordable. It is. You do freak out when you first see how much the dairy calves are drinking.
Yeah.
And you've just hold your nerve because it does all turn round.
Because there must have been times when you were doing this when you go, think, have we made the right decision? And then I'm assuming there's sort of a cut-off point where, is it probably a couple of years or maybe a year? I don't know, because there must be a cut-off point going, it's not working, it's not working. Yes, it's working. Does it get to that point?
Oh, yes. In fact, almost twice. So we first started it in 2013 and we had to suspend it. It just was, we were going to be bankrupt because the calves were drinking just about everything when they got to 4 or 5 months. And then we had to financially recover. So we didn't restart it for another 3 years because I wasn't joking when I said we almost went bankrupt. But after that, we had modified things so that we got at least half the milk, basically. But the calves were still with their mothers most of the time and still able to suckle. So that required quite a lot of thinking and thinking outside the box as to how we were going to do that. But it worked. So we gave that 3 years and we committed to 3 years. We weren't going to lose our nerve in those 3 years. But even then, you face issues.
And off the back of that, tell us about this amazing selection of cheeses that I'm going to use. I've sautéed some onions, some garlic and some lardons in here with a bit of fresh thyme. I'm going to add the potatoes. Instead of doing like a tartiflette, which is layered, I'm just going to throw it all in. I'm going to use some of this amazing cheese you've got in front of us. So explain this one first of all. Tell me about this one if you can see it. Huge, great wheel.
Yes, it's we call it a Rainton Tom.
Right.
And the Tom is primarily known as being an Alpine cheese, but we've used our own milk and followed the recipe. It is literally made in 2 colanders. So you can see from the shape of it there, it comes out looking like a bit like a curling stone.
Yeah.
But it's a milk cheese, a yellowy cheese, sort of nutty aroma, and can be a sweet tasting.
You've got an amazing cheese. You've kindly sent some other ones as well over here, the blues and bits and pieces. First of all, what dairy herd is it that you've got? What cattle are you producing this from?
I'm never going to give you an easy answer. It's a 3-way cross.
Right.
So we always used to have butchers, and they give a lovely creamy milk, but they don't give very good beef, or when I say very good beef, I mean a quantity of beef, because they never quite put on any weight. So we've crossed them with a French breed Montbéliard, who are good for cheese and also they're big cows, and crossed them again with a Holstein, who again are well known for producing quantities. So everything is a 3-way cross. It's not that we've got any purebred Holsteins and purebred Montbéliards. Everything's 3 ways. So we're breeding for both good milk for cheese and for beef.
I think it's fascinating what you're doing, and congratulations on what you're doing. I think it's a great, and the product speaks for itself. Like you say at the end of it, if you're willing to do that balance and get that balance right, it's ethical, it's the quality of the food, it's perfect. It's a perfect balance for everything. Really, best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you, James.
Pleasure. And next time I'm up there, I'll come and visit.
Please do.
I will do. Well, definitely. So I'm just going to take this cheese now, but you see I've got the cream and the onions and the garlic, and these potatoes have been cooked. They're cooked new potatoes. You can do this with just plain cooked larger potatoes, but I've got this amazing... This is lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, so, they're all good. Yeah. All good. I've tasted every one of them.
Yeah, I know you have. Yeah, exactly. But it's a great... I mean, ethically, it's fantastic as well.
No, I love the story.
Yeah.
I love the story.
It's great. But look, we're going to take our cheese like that, and less is more, or more is...
I haven't ever seen it done like that before. I like it. I'm
wait
not
and see, Galton, just wait. We're on show one of the new series, and you're off to a start already. Look, but look, you put this in the oven for 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, look. Oh.
Thank you. Lobster, give me a break. Give me a break.
I only did lobster because I thought that might be something you might eat.
Something. Look at this. See, we start the show as we mean to go on. Only 50 calories.
Yeah, look at it.
I'm dyslexic. Look.
Oh.
Hey, this will put hairs on your chest, Galton. Look at that.
Yeah.
My version, it's not really a tartifette, actually. Tartifette makes a Yorkshireman. But that's what it is. It's potatoes, this amazing cheese as well. This beautiful Scottish cheese with an amazing story. So I urge you to go out and try it, find it. It's a great story as well with it. But there we have it. Bacon, potatoes and cheese. Dish one of the new series. Off we go. Bon appetit, chef.
Thank you.
I unfortunately haven't got a spoon, so I'll just have to use this.
Oh.
Look at this.
You know it is going to be good. It's hot. Very hot. It's all right.
It's a bit hot. But anyway, right, still to go, we've got dishes from this fella, Galton, and Chef James Tanner will be here. Hopefully by then this will cool down a bit. Anyway, right, we'll be making a vegetable and salmon muffalata for my guest, Kim Wilde, very shortly. Never thought I'd say that in my life. But anyway, don't go anywhere, because after the break, I'll be making a wonderful dish with Mr. Paul Ainsworth as we take on the high seas on one of my favourite ever food adventures. I'll see you in a bit. So I'll be this. Welcome back. Now, coming up, I'll be paying tribute to the late, great Mr. Alistair Little in this week's Little Masterclass. And I'll be joined in the house by my special guest, Kim Wilde, very shortly. But before that, I thought I'd take a look at some of the dishes you've been cooking over the summer. And you guys have been busy, not just with that, but travelling as well, and doing a bit of DIY. First up, we've had some photographs from Joe Davies, who's been firing up the barbecue over the summer. Now, look at this. This is maybe the food bit, but just check out the outdoor kitchen. 3 barbecues all ready to go, and I love that. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Great job there, Joe. Next, we've got Louise Reynolds, who's been tucking into a rump steak with salad in a garden. We got another photograph, this one from Mark Dance, who's been on a boat somewhere enjoying this grilled lobster. I mean, this is what summer's all about, isn't it, really? Look at that. Look at the view of that. And finally, a big thanks to David Bushell, who was on holiday in Australia over the summer, visiting his kids, and came across this place. Thanks for the picture there, David. Look at that, James Martin Reserve. If you want to see what the reserve's like, check out this next picture. Look at that. This Australia, I've never been, but I've heard so much about it. But it looks spectacular there. I hope you had a great time there, David. Now, do keep sending your pictures and videos coming in. We'd love to see what you've been inspired to cook at home, also on your travels as well. It's time to take a look back now at one of my favourite ever food adventures. Now, this week, my travels are not taking me to Australia, but about 40 miles in that direction. Over there, as me and my chef mate, Paul Ainsworth, take a table for 2 at a very unusual restaurant in Poole Harbour. I remember this. Anyway, enjoy this one. All right, mate. Yeah. It's a bit different, isn't it?
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm really, really good.
What is this? Is this a love letter?
No, this is the menu first.
Is it the menu?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I know what it is. The pork looks amazing.
Yeah. Oh.
Anyway, cheers. Do you want a glass?
No, I don't want a glass. This already feels quite...
What do you mean?
Romantic. The can's going to make it feel more manly.
If the editor dims this down and puts twinkly lights on it and music, I won't be impressed.
Hi, guys.
Oh, how you doing? You all right?
So here is our pork belly.
Lovely. Hopefully some barbecued meat from a wooden board will help make this feel a bit more like a lad's lunch. Cute, tight,
Yes.
lovely.
Okay, enjoy.
That is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Delicious.
I'm seeing a side to you I've never seen.
What do you mean?
Well, he brought me to dinner on my own on a beach in this beautiful setting. We're like a couple of pair of Love Island rejects.
I know I'm in a pink shirt, but it's not to be abusive. Oh, chicken, look at that.
Okay.
Danielle, you just keep bringing great presents.
I am pleased.
Yeah, you do.
In fact, Paul is enjoying the food so much, he's getting a bit carried away.
You've got beautiful blue eyes. Your eyes match the sea. Just being honest.
Would you ever do Love Island?
I've got good skin for it.
It's not the skin they're interested about. You know, it's whether you look good in underpants.
So you talk about Love Island a lot to me. You're
I've seen it
a
once.
secret Love Island
I'm not,
fan.
I've seen it
I
once.
know you
I've
are.
seen it once for about 10 minutes.
And I bet you're thinking, I can't believe it. I really like this.
I like chicken. That's why I'm not going on there. I'll be out first round here.
Your personality will probably take you to round 2.
Thanks for the compliment, Paul. Just for that, you can help me with my final cook of the day, right here on this wonderful beach. Right. Heads or tails?
Oh,
Well, it's actually a euro, so it's actually... what's that, a dove or a...
I'll go with Dove.
Eh?
Dove.
You've lost. You're cooking.
Excellent.
I'm over
I
here.
was hoping you'd
so,
say that.
we're going to do a massive mixed grill, all right?
Yeah.
Look at this pork. Look at that.
Beautiful.
Now, if I had a six-pack, it would look like this.
Yeah, that's a massive fish.
Yeah, hold your hands out. So this is going to go on here. I want you to cook this.
Yeah.
We're going to crisp that up nicely. We've got
Just
some
the pork?
Just the pork. Because over
about
here.
the sausages?
Don't worry about that, Chief. We've got some black pudding over here. I'm going to take the chicken. I'm going to make a little paillard for you.
I'm going to nick some of your salt, all right,
Okay.
mate?
Happy with that?
Yeah, very happy.
See, when you've got a Michelin star chef on the beach, you've got to put him to work, you see. So while he's over there, we're going to make this wonderful little paillard, which is a wonderful sort of thing you can do with chicken. You can either have it open or closed, but what you've got to do, first of all, is remove the little fillet. So just get rid of that. You can always cook it and use it later. And then you open this up. From the thick end to the thin, you cut halfway.
Look at that. Seasoning over a log. That's proper cooking.
I'll tell you what, they look all right, don't they?
Absolutely beautiful, yeah. I want more stuff to cook.
All right,
Send some more stuff
it's on
over.
its way. It's on its way. Look, you can have these. These are merguez. These are amazing, these sausages.
Thank you, chef.
There you go. But back onto our little paillard over here. The great thing about these, you can cook these in just a normal frying pan at home. A little bit of mozzarella, a little bit of bacon, a little bit of serrano ham, a bit of sage, a bit of plum chutney under the grill. Wonderful like they are, just nice and simple. But I'm just going to season these and create like a little parcel. And then I've got some apple here over here. Cox's apples. Slice it nice and thin. Now, you normally think of, obviously, pork and apple, which is fine. Classic combination, of course. But this, when it cooks down with this other ingredient I'm going to add, just tastes amazing. Because I'm going to use this. This is nenduja, which is a spicy sausage, comes from Calabria. It's actually really, really soft. And when it cooks, it all melts down. There's quite a lot of oil with this. So, again, for a barbecue, you're better off doing it in a pan like this. Because if you put this on the barbecue, it literally will burn. Just fold this over like that. So you're creating these little parcels. And then what we do is we pass them to Chefy.
Ready?
Yeah, a little bit of oil. You can actually cook these in the oven as well. About 20 minutes, something like that. They'll be fine. All right, happy with those?
Yeah.
While he's doing that, we'll just give him the rest of it. Do you want a bit of black pudding?
Yes, please.
And when you get good black pudding, it looks like this. It's got bits in it. It should be nice and chunky like that. This is chorizo picante. Picante means spice. It means a lot of paprika. When you cook this, there's an awful lot of liquid that comes out of it, and that liquid is flavour, so everything's going to go onto our grill. Right, while he's doing that, we'll then turn our attention to this. This is a simple little mayonnaise, and for that, I want some egg yolks, about sort of 3 egg yolks. You can do it with whole eggs if you wanted to, or a combination of the two. Touch of mustard, a bit of Dijon mustard. Usually with mayonnaise, it's Dijon and not English because it's far too strong. And then always with mayonnaise, it's veg oil. Never really done with olive oil. You whisk this in a sort of a nice, even stream, really, till it starts to thicken up. Do this slowly at first, and you can add more oil later when it fully starts to emulsify. So this is the boring bit.
Whilst you're doing the boring bit, look at that.
It's actually amazing how much oil just an egg yolk will emulsify. It'll go whiter and whiter. I think that looks pretty good to me. That's exactly how I want it. Now, just to add to this, we're going to use celeriac. Now, I love celeriac. It's brilliant in soups. A lot of chefs, like him, will salt bake it, which is brilliant as well. They make a salt... Do you do a salt crust or you do a salt dough?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, the easiest way to do it at home for me would be the dough.
The dough. You just mix, basically just salt,
Yeah,
a little bit of water, some flour together,
that's it.
and then you cook it for about an hour. Absolutely delicious. Salt baked. It's wonderful. But for this, we thinly slice it. Paul, check that out. Hovercraft.
Oh, awesome.
How are you getting on?
Touch longer, James, but yeah, we're good.
Okay. I'm about a couple of minutes away, so just going to take the apple now, do the same thing. So, nice and thin strips. Now, just to finish it off, maple syrup.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love the stuff.
Just a little glaze of maple syrup over the top of a pork chop. Oh. Now, to finish this off, this little mayonnaise, to turn it into remoulade, you just pop a good amount of grain mustard in there as well. And you combine that...
James?
What's that? You're ready now. You put it in too early, you see. I said to you, wait. I said wait, and you went too early. Now everything's starting to burn. Now you're panicking. Stereotypical bloke thing. You're starting to burn everything. Everything was perfectly all right.
Nothing's burning here,
It
Chef.
is burning. I can smell it burning.
The only thing that's happening is you're taking far too long over that remoulade. Look at this.
Do you want this?
Look at that.
So this remoulade is now ready. Now you can start to finish this off and plate up.
I mean, look at this.
A bit of black pudding. Merguez sausages.
This is ridiculous. Look at it. Oh, my God. I love it. That's what you call a meat feast.
Yeah. That's what you call dinner for two.
If you had a pub, you call that a mixed grill.
Now, yeah, ideally, I wanted a little bit for my...
Oh, don't worry about that. That's what it's all about.
OK, there you have it. Mixed grill with an apple and celeriac remoulade. Not coleslaw, remoulade. And while Paul and I head back to the boat, it's time for the Ritual Feast gang to eat. Cheers, guys. Enjoy.
Oh, they look tasty. Is that piece big enough? You get stuck in there now. Very nice. That's beautiful.
Great day, that, and you can't beat spending it with good mates. Still to come, we've got recipes for lobster and buttermilk chicken on the way from Galton, Blackiston and Mr. James Tanner. But I'll see you back here in a couple of minutes while we're whipping up a dish of my very own for 80s music legend, Kim Wilde. I'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. Now, coming up, I'll be enjoying some top-class cooking from chefs Galton, Blackiston and James Tanner. And the Yorkshire forager, Alicia Vasey, will be back and dropping by the house very shortly. But first, I'm here with a woman who dominated the 1980s music scene and is on a comeback trail to reclaim her throne. To be honest, she's never lost the throne, to be honest. It's the fabulous Kim Wilde. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Oh, I'm so hungry.
Well, the first time you came, I don't think this was built, really.
No, this is beautiful.
I would say we built it for you because as well as your love of music, gardening is something that you're hugely passionate about.
Yeah, a garden room, eating outdoors. You know, I have a garden room, somewhere to eat outdoors. I'm out there all the time, breakfast, lunch, dinner. It's just a lovely idea. It looks, you've done a beautiful job,
An award-winning garden, I have to say.
Wow. Oh, well, yeah. Oh, yeah, that happens.
So we're gonna start off. I thought I'd do this. It's a variant of a dish called a muffalata. Now, muffalata is a combination of meat and cheese and that kind of stuff. They said it was invented in Italy, but it really came to fore in America. And in New Orleans area. And basically it was found that there was a delicatessen owner that used to watch people sit and have their food on their knees, and it was going everywhere, and the meat and the salad and everything else. Yeah. And he said, why don't we just put it all in a sandwich and layer it all up? That's where it came from. So it's a variant of that, really, because obviously you're a keen gardener. You can use any veg for this, but also you can use any salad. So I'm going to char grill the peppers. We've got some courgettes. We've got some onions. Throw it all on the barbecue. That's all it is. And it's just going to get layered up as we're going to do that.
Beautiful. So it's so simple.
Exactly. So now I mentioned the fact, comeback trail. You're out on tour again.
I am. I start on September 10.
Yeah.
And to the 27th, and I end up at the Palladium. There's 8 of us on stage. I've got 2 drummers, James, 2 fabulous drummers.
Yeah.
My brother's on stage with me, my niece Scarlett doing the backing vocals. I've been touring with this band for many years. We'll be doing all the greatest hits, and we'll be throwing in a few surprises. We've got some lovely, 1 or 2 really nice surprises for the Palladium show, I've got to say. And yeah, it'll just be costumes.
I'm taking it
because
if you compare it now to what the 80s is, it's very different now, I suppose. I don't suppose you get to tour much back in the 80s because it was kind of, you were in this whirlwind, weren't you? I mean, when you're reading about your career, I mean, there's only, what was it, 2, there's 5 women that have ever had #1s in America from the UK.
Yeah.
You're still one of them. 30 million records sold.
Yeah, nice.
Was 17 top 40 singles.
Well done.
Yeah, well, it's
You're
it's
doing
not
really
somebody
well.
telling me in my ear. I did my
and
research.
all this, and you're cooking a muffalata at the same time.
If there was a mastermind thing, I would be called obsessed, to be honest on you. I think that's what it'd be.
What a multitasker you are.
Exactly.
Well,
but so tell us about the difference between. Obviously, there's a huge difference in the music industry between the 80s and now.
There is.
But I suppose that being live on stage, that buzz of live on stage, must be really special for you.
Do you know, it's just incredible standing on stage and feeling the energy from a lot of people who really want to be there, singing along to your songs. I think especially now, post-pandemic, post-lockdowns, that whole live music scene, the music scene now is so vibrant. It's very emotional, actually, standing on a stage, seeing people out there. You know most of them, or many of them have been, possibly been through some really tough times.
Yeah.
But they're there. They're singing the songs with you. They're there to be together with other people. They're there many people who grew up with me, because I've been around quite a long time. But I love it more than I've ever done.
So, I mean, you've had a phenomenal career, but when you look at it, you've grafted as well. You've supported so many acts, and this is a little bit of research that I was doing, because I've got to mention Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Because you supported him on a tour as well. I mean, that must have been... Do you get to see people like that, or do they just suddenly appear out of a trailer and you don't get to see them when you're doing that?
It was very much like that with Michael Jackson, with no surprise there, I'm sure. He was a very private person. But, to be on the Bad Tour when he was at his peak and watch him from side of stage with his manager, Frankie DeLeo, who took a bit of a shine to me. So I managed to get a very nice side of stage view of the whole proceeding. So, it was a magical time in my career when my album Close was out, and it made a huge difference to my career at that time.
But that was about the same time, because with another legend, Bowie.
Yeah, and then
that must have been amazing.
Yeah, because shortly after that, maybe because I'd done that, I got asked to do the David Bowie Greatest Hits Tour, which was the Sound and Vision Tour, and working alongside that master was just incredible.
It must have been incredible.
Yeah, having been such a huge fan, you know, Hunky Dory was on our record player in the 70s. Just loved John Harmony dancing. I mean, just all those great records he made, all those amazing Top of the Pops appearances that he made, all those amazing albums. I mean, what an amazing man. Yeah, and then to be on tour with him, I gave him a Marty Wilde T-shirt at the end of the tour because I didn't know what to give him. I said, what do you give David Bowie? What do you give the man who probably has everything?
Yeah.
So, but I gave him a Marty Wilde T-shirt, and he liked that.
Laying this up now, just to show you. So you've got the courgettes, the pesto, the cheese, and the cheese is the important bit, not just for that classic muffalata sort of thing, or however you make it, but the cheese is important in several ways to keep the moisture in, but also you can have this hot or cold, and you can layer this up with meat or fish. I've got some
I love
salmon over here.
Love salmon.
And the idea is that you just see. I read my brief as well.
Yeah.
And you take the salmon, and the most important bit is you build it up with plenty of layers. So many times when you're doing this, it becomes too thick. The layers become too thick, and it's not as good. So when you're doing these little layers, every time you do it, and layer these in, and also change the colour every now and then, you've got the peppers, you've got the onions, like that. And when you're putting this in, really press it.
Press it down, yeah.
It's important that you press it all into the edges, so it starts to layer up as you're doing this. And remember the cheese, you can use a little bit of Stilton. I've got a bit of mozzarella over here, but you can layer this all up. But you mentioned about, you know, your life today. That must help you with your music, and it really. It must one of those jobs. I used to say it's like cooking. You get better the older you get.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I always think it is because you learn a lot in life. Music's about it's about lessons in life where you were younger and you related that to music. I think the same thing as you get older.
I feel so. I mean, I really feel so. And I think the audience feel that when they come and see me now. I feel that I've sort of earned my stripes as a live performer. It's taken me a long time. I'm by far the performer I wanted to be now that I wasn't really back in the day. I was quite good at, you know, the videos and the Top of the Pops appearances, and I was quite good on stage, and I you know, more than got away with it. But these days, it's a whole different thing for me. I've really turned into the performer I dreamed I perhaps could be one day.
Because I'm guessing that was
dad, you know,
that was MTV and Top of the Pops, where a bit of it was miming,
a lot of it was miming.
A bit of it was doing.
But I was the best in the business, James. No one could tell. And,
but do you know what I mean? And there's a lot of, you know, the great thing about doing it. There are a few stories in the papers, not about yourself, but other bands, are fakery and everything else that were there, and people not singing, not the actual singers that were performing, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, gosh,
you must have seen it all, really.
I think there was a lot of cynicism around that, you know, that time about singers. You know, can they really sing? Isn't it all just happening in the studio? And thankfully, I'm here 40 years later, sort of proving very much that in that instance, I definitely was a real McCoy. You
well,
know,
you'd never have got the chance to be with Bowie and everything else, and on stage and all those big concerts and everything else without that, I suppose.
They don't happen by accident. Yeah. Generally.
Well, I know it's a lot of graft. I was reading it, like I said, I've been reading about it. Like I said, if there's a mastermind, I'd probably get locked up from being a stalker. But anyway, look, we got on here. We just got this lovely little bit of tomatoes, and the idea is you just layer this up in sections as we keep going and going and going. But you season it up every sort of couple of layers as you're doing it with salt. A little bit of pepper as you go in, and really mix and match the colours. So, although you've got sort of reds and reds, don't do layers of reds and layers of that kind of stuff, and you just pack it all in like that. Plenty of this. You need
quite sort of Italian colours, green and
plenty of pesto and that kind of stuff.
White and red.
You don't want it to be dry. That's the most important bit. So, when the bread's like this, put it over the top. Now, what you can do is actually, you can leave it like this if you wanted to, but also you can decide whether you want this hot or cold. If you want it hot, you can take this as it is, cover it over with a little bit of tin foil, pop it in the oven, about 170, something like that. Not too hot, you don't want the bread to brown, for a good sort of 20, 30 minutes. And when you cut it, it's beautiful and sort of sticky in the middle. But this one, the idea of this, what I want to do for you now, is 'cause you're a keen gardener. The great thing about this, you can have this outside as like a picnic, but also you can have it on a barbecue.
Look at that. So nothing's going to be falling out of that.
Nothing. So the idea is, I made this last night, and then you can get yourself a plate, and then you can slice it And we'll cut it through this way.
So,
like that.
Would you do it in quarters or slices or?
That's enough for 2, Kim.
Oh, 2 people, yeah. OK.
But look.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's amazing.
So you can take that like that, and then what you can do with that is then cut it into 6, however you want to do it.
I love that. What a beautiful thing.
I just think it's so simple to do. Take your time doing it. I mean, I've done it with sort of some salmon that's just simply been poached, but you can use...
I love that. It's such a great idea.
You can use tin salmon.
So impressive as well.
It just looks so nice, I think, as a nice little terrine. But there we have it. This is dish number 1 for you.
I love it,
But sort of
James.
my variant of a little Italian classic, sort of modernised in America, but done in Hampshire. But there we go, done.
Beautiful. I love that.
There we go. Bon appetit.
Ooh.
Dive in.
Have fun.
See, that's what it was for, you see, invented. You put it on your knee, stop you going all over the place. That's what it was invented for. But while you're diving into that, I'll just show you what's in this one. So even though this one's not obviously been in the fridge or everything else, it's still, if you press it and compress it really well, still, see, you can almost eat it straight away again. Nice and simple. Stick around. We're going to chat to you throughout the rest of the day as well. Thank you very much for coming. I'll be cooking my 2nd course for Kim later on in the show. And Chef James Tanner will be treating me to his buttermilk chicken very shortly. But join us after the break when it's Galton Blackiston's turn to fire up the stoves. Not out here, but in there. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, coming up, I'll be paying tribute to one of the country's greatest ever chefs in this week's Little Masterclass. But first, I'm here with a chef who is the best thing to have come out of Norfolk since the A11. I had to do that. It's Mr. Galton Blackiston! And we're joined in the kitchen by top forager Alicia Vasey. Good to have you both back. New series, new start, new way forward. What are you going to be cooking?
What can go wrong, eh?
Well, it's a different thing. I'm usually sat there, you see.
Yeah,
I'm allowed to cook
back.
with you.
You're back.
Yeah, go on then.
So, I'm doing a lobster dish. Norfolk, we've had a great year with lobsters. There's been lots of lobsters, crabs. It's been good. But I don't know the real reason why, but it's been good. So I'm just doing a really summery dish of a tomato consomme, lobster, a basil emulsion, like a mayonnaise, and it's all going to be lovely, and you'll actually think it's quite good.
Right, go on then.
Right, to begin with, the claws.
Yeah.
They're going to go in this water for 3 minutes. Alicia, you got my watch?
Oh, aye.
Alicia, it sounds... Yeah, 3 minutes. You got
3
it?
minutes. Hang on.
Right, so we're just sort of on the cusp of cooking them.
OK.
The bodies...
So you're not thoroughly cooking them through?
No, because they're going to be finished off. We use these all the time in the kitchen now. Great pieces of kit. It's probably down to you, that.
Is it?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Wow. So, I wanted to... This had 2 minutes, so this is the body.
Yeah.
And we put a spoon in there, because if you want to serve a lobster rather than curled up, but straight and long like that, then you put a spoon in it, and then you do it like that. Okay. Yeah, and I've got a job for you, because you can...
want me to take those out of the shell, do you?
Please.
OK, I can do
please.
that.
And then I'm going to show you... There's several processes in how to do the tomato consomme, OK?
Yeah.
So begin with shallots. Just chop them. Nothing clever with doing them, just roughly chopped. OK? And the San Marzano tomatoes.
So this is kind of like making a clear tomato soup.
Well, it's... there's clear and there's clear. I'll show you the difference.
Right.
That one's quite clear.
Right.
And my one's a little bit cloudy, but I don't mind that. Do you know what I mean?
Is it authentic?
Yeah. Still, I'll tell you, I'm going to give you the taste test, Alicia. Because you tell me which... No, get your spoon and taste that one.
Right.
Right.
Alicia.
Oh, I'm going to have to multitask here.
And then...
I might drop your watch and...
No, don't drop that in there. Whatever you do. And then... Oh...
Nearly did.
Can you do this for me?
What's that?
Can you do that for me?
What do you want to do?
Just take the lid off.
Say please.
Please. It's really important that you put it into a processor rather than a liquidizer. Was it 3 minutes?
I'm going to taste this one.
OK.
Next.
Now tell me which one...
Go on.
And tell me honestly...
Yeah, let's have a look.
They're both I'm going to say this first of all. They're both
yeah,
great.
OK, that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do, actually.
Why? Tell me why.
Right, your 30 seconds up.
Oh, right.
I tell you what, I think that's fantastic. It might be
Mind
cloudy,
yourself.
but it's authentic.
Is that because of the smaller tomatoes? Is that
I think so.
The taste is
They're
massive.
sweeter.
Right.
These ones are... Don't get me wrong, these ones are great, but if I've got a choice, I'd go for the smaller ones, you know? So get them into here, and you literally then just put it on the machine. All you do is that. And then the most important thing is to have a bowl with a sieve in it and some muslin. OK? And if you just bring that out, pour it into there, and just let it drip overnight. What I've been doing lately is to turning it into a sorbet by adding a bit of stock... You look at me as if I'm an idiot.
I'm not looking at it like that at all. So you leave that in the fridge? Just leave it overnight like that?
Yeah, overnight, and you'll get something like that one. Right, next job is to cook some samphire. So this grows all along the coast, as you'll know, Alicia.
So
Alicia, it
what
sounds
makes
like something you get from the chemist, doesn't it?
Do you know, I've been up your end at Woods foraging for that.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's that.
You went foraging for this stuff up in Norfolk?
Yeah, that was a big mistake.
I'd love to take you there one
That was a
day.
mistake, that was.
What do you mean a mistake?
What?
Well, I went to this beach, right, and I didn't know that it was a naturist beach.
Oh, did you? In Holcombe? Yes, at Holcombe.
I'm going to say that.
Yeah. Not that I've been, but I know about it.
I were foraging for samphire, and other people were foraging for other stuff.
Yeah. Did you see a few sights?
Yes. A lot of sand in dodgy places.
Yeah.
Right. We just turn our attention to the lobster.
Okay. Yeah. So back on, you've done a great job of that, and as you can see, they're just on the rare side of being cooked. Yeah. So it's perfect. Don't get rid of those shells. Make a lovely bisque of it or something like that. Yeah. But use it. So they're ready to go on the barbecue when we're ready. Okay.
So how long do you cook that samphire for, then?
Until it's got to cook it until it's well cooked.
Right.
You know. And this is how we eat it. This is how we eat it back home. Is that well cooked?
Yeah,
no,
I've never eaten it like that. I like it in fritters.
Do you?
Yeah, just a bit of batter. Get a bit of batter.
Oh, tempura. Very modern. Tempura. Tempura.
It's north, isn't it? It's out in batter.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Right.
So what have we got in here? We've got the potatoes cooking away.
The potatoes are going in there. And I can actually just start doing these a little bit. OK?
So what are you doing with this lobster, then?
Just going to put it on the barbecue. A little bit of the basil oil on it. You're quite good on the barbecue. Can you just colour them without nailing them, please? Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I'm just interested to know where this the nailing thing. What it means overcooking it.
Well, because things are going quite well.
Right.
Do you know? So I'm just concerned that I'm going to just.
Have you not got one of them yet?
I've got loads of them.
Have you?
I've got the long one on the basis I saw it with James.
Yeah.
And now the kitchen can't get enough of it.
What? And you've got loads of them?
Yeah.
And you still don't know how to use it?
I don't do that side now, do I?
Right. Okay.
I'm too old.
Right. So we've got the samphire on there.
Yeah. Careful. Do you remember that mushroom pizza you ruined of mine? Do you remember it?
Remember, it's one of those things that you can never forget, that you keep reminding me every time. I didn't kind of ruin it. It was just...
You ruined
slightly overcooked.
This will appeal to you.
Right.
So this is what you do. Loads of this.
Nice.
OK?
Yeah.
So you don't want this on both sides cooked, though? You
Just so it's nice.
Yeah.
And then bring it over here.
Because the further out we go for the samphire, the longer the season lasts. If you get it...
You're right.
Yeah,
You're
you have to go
absolutely
right out onto mud flats.
Yeah.
That's the end of the season stuff. That's the best stuff.
When is the season for samphire, then?
Middle of July till...
It's Midsummer's Day.
Oh, so Harold's sort of the end of asparagus.
To be fair, I wasn't asking you. I was asking the chief forager over here. When was the...
Who knows what she's on with?
Yeah, go on then. What's the best season for samphire, then?
I tell you what, if you're Midsummer's Day, OK, and depending on where you are in the country, OK, it's like mid-September to end September, but it starts off in the culverts, all right? So it starts off growing in the culverts, and then when you're right out on mud flats, that's the last place for it to grow, so that's the first place you go to at the end of September.
Perfect.
That's where it is.
Perfect.
Wee wellies.
Yeah.
What's next, then?
Just put the dish together. I'm going to do you each a dish, right?
Okay.
So I've got my basil mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just show people the colour of that, because when you make it with the oil, the colour of it's amazing. Yeah, look at that.
Forward to that.
You see that?
Yeah, the colour's amazing.
So that's the basil mayonnaise going in there.
And how long will that keep for?
Probably about 3 or 4 days.
That's nice.
Actually, sorry. And then these little dehydrated tomatoes. Now, a dehydrated tomato means basically it's been put in a low oven.
You've got too much time on your hands.
Oh, that's so good.
I've got juice on my eye.
Good. What does it mean, dehydrated tomatoes?
It's cooked in an oven, so very, very slowly. So the idea is that it intensifies in flavour. OK? Do you want to taste one?
Yeah, go on. Oh, God, damn.
It's so disrespectful. It's untrue. I love him, though.
Doing really well, Chef.
Thank you, Chef.
You like that salt?
Right, one of these.
Yeah.
Are they meant to be that colour?
Yes, because they've got so much mint in them.
All right, OK.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
Then,
Happy with that?
yeah,
So how long's lobster season till then?
till the fishermen can't get out.
There you go.
Like so. Just a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Does look lovely, though, doesn't it?
So.
Give you that.
I just want him to crack on and hurry up now.
Do you?
Yeah. It does look.
It's all right, you sitting there eating it up.
There we are. So it's a really neat little dish.
It is.
We take the consomme to the table.
Yeah, lovely.
And we serve the consomme with it. It's full of flavour. It's packed full of flavour. It's using
pretty.
local ingredients. But I would tell you that, obviously, use a crab, use any other white fish you wanted to. It doesn't have to be lobster.
Yeah.
It's just because it's prevalent in this time of year.
It's delicious.
But
So give us the name of this dish, then.
So it's a lobster with tomato consomme and basil.
I can see you're quite chuffed with this.
I am. Nothing's gone wrong.
Nothing's gone wrong. Right, Alicia, there you go.
Oh,
Be careful when you're chucking it over there. Jeez.
Go on, then. Do you want that one?
Best one.
No, you can have that one.
Thanks. Right.
Don't know how
Let's have a
to eat
taste.
this.
Hey?
Not sure how to eat
Yeah,
it.
that's why I got a fork.
You know what I mean?
It's very nice.
Silence is golden, isn't it?
Very nice. I like the herbs in the potatoes, though. They work a treat. Cool. It's very nice, that.
I love it the way you sound surprised. How about you, Alicia?
That's really good. I am surprised.
It's very nice, isn't
I
it?
don't think you'd be as good as that.
That's all right.
It's nice, isn't it? Sorry?
It's summery, isn't it?
It's very nice. It's lovely. It's very, very nice. Galton Blackiston, everybody! Right, Mr. James Tanner will be taking over the kitchen duties very shortly. I'll be laying on lunch for Kim Wilde at the end of the show. But after the break, Alicia is going to be teaching Galton and I what's in the hedgerows and what's in season right now.
Correct.
That's what she's going to be doing. Emptying a car full of stuff. I'll see you after the break.
Yeah, that's all right, isn't it?
It's all right, isn't it? Welcome back. Now, we're chatting some more to the one and only Kim Wilde a little bit later. We've got a chicken dish from Chef James Tanner on its way. But first, I'm here with the top forager who almost poisoned Galton last time she was on the show. So let's hope she can finish the job off properly now. It's Alicia Vasey. Hey. Do you remember that?
Do I remember it?
You were munching on this stuff.
Do I remember it? Yeah.
Was it?
It's because I had it raw or something and you're supposed to dry it out.
Oh, God,
It was
I forgot
something...
Morels, wasn't it? Something like that?
No, it was some herb.
Oh, some herb. Anyway, we're trying not to poison him this time. So what have we got on the menu then?
That's what you say.
Exactly. So what's
Proper job this time, Galton.
what's available now then?
Right, OK, so what we're on with today is we are on with wild moorland heather.
Yeah.
We are on with bilberries, which you can pick at the same time as a heather, or if you like me, you go and get your mum to go and do it for you, because it's hard work.
Okay.
But I did sell buy her a wheelbarrow for her 80th.
Right, nice.
Right? Well, she's not 80.
So how did you get started in this foraging sort of game then? How did that come about?
Oh, gosh.
Because you supply a lot of chefs around the globe as well.
Yeah,
with
well,
stuff.
I do. Well, I do. I mean, I'm very lucky, but it's like half the job hunting is being reliable. So back in the day when it was just scratching around in dirt and picking stuff with my granddad, who had to do it during the war, we didn't think anything of it. You know, I mean, you grow up, you do your career options, you know, you go through the normal process that everybody does. But I always kept my hand in. Yeah. And then one day, foraging became trendy, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, it has over recent years, certainly has.
You know, everybody wants foraged. Yeah. Everybody wants something wild.
And not more so
natural.
than chefs as well, don't they? So tell us about the do's and don'ts with heather then.
OK, right, so heather on the moors right now, and there's
it's extraordinary at the moment as well. I've been up there.
This is a fantastic year, actually.
The colours are amazing.
Considering how hot it's been this year, it's been absolutely fantastic. Yeah. The thing is with heather, all right, you've got about 3 different varieties, and we've got bell heather today. That's got the best pollen in it, so you can kick it along and you can waft it, right? I think I've shaken all pollen out of that, if I'm honest with you. All right. So this is absolutely fantastic. So what they used to do with it back in the old days is they would make heather beer out of it. So if they didn't have hops, heather had a kind of like the same action.
Right?
There's a lot of breweries up in Yorkshire. You know, a lot of micro-breweries, and a lot of time they did use heather. Now, you can only go to about there on heather. What you really need to do is use the flowers. Cyanide, lovely, OK? So...
Best you give me a route.
Cyanide... Heather beautiful.
Right.
Galton. Yeah.
Right. So you just? I'm presuming that's why the wild birds eat just the flowers, then, is it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I tell you what it is about cyanide, right? So you've got all your stone fruit. They're absolutely concentrated in cyanide. Even if you swallow them, you're not going to die. Right. So even though you've got a lot of plants with cyanide in it, and it does at this time of year. You're not. It's safe, but not safe. So you just got to be aware, really. Yeah. So if you just got that knowledge inside, don't start chewing on these like a piece of straw in your mouth. It's not going to be too good for you. But we can do lots of really lovely things with it.
What have you done? Because I've seen you've been busy baking, but we're going to get onto that in a minute. But what are you going to do? Drink for the first of all, is that right?
Right. OK. So I think with heather's becoming really quite popular now. So a lot of people are putting like hives on the moors so that we're getting proper heather honey, and that's quite widespread. And we've also got like fusions. So the heather honey is going in some really nice rums. So we're getting all these like artisan cocktails and artisan spirits. So I'm going to start off, because you might need a drink after you've had that cake, because it looks pretty, but there's note in it.
Right.
Right. That's an economical cake.
An economical cake, which you've seen the old recipes of this. You've made this.
I've made this, and it looks so bad. I had to spend God knows how many hours faffing around with it, making it look pretty. OK. But it tastes nice. OK. Right. So, drink first, then cake.
So I'll sort the cake out first. Well, you
start slicing that up. Right, so a couple of bits of ice, dead simple. So I've got a cup of hot water, OK? So that's for the honey. All right, so
now,
we've got
can you just go onto a moor and pick heather? I'm assuming you can't just do that, can you? Not really, no.
I mean, what you need to do is sort of get permission. I mean, we're lucky. We've got some moorland that we've got access to, which is really nice. OK. To be fair, it's a bit like trimming a bush. All right, you're going to be right. You're not doing it any damage. If you're going to take absolutely tons of it, but if you're going to just take a little bit, you know, for when you're at home, that's not a problem. If you're going to just do something with it, because it makes really good infusions. Because all that pollen. You can just pop it in some jars, make some syrup, or you can make like an alcoholic cordial, which is quite nice, which is made with quite a bit of white wine vinegar. So, bit of rum, it's all right. OK, bit of rum. We've got the heather, we've got the honey. So what have you done with this then? Right, so this is like a week-long infusion, and it is amazing. If you just taste that, all right, I'm not poisoning you, that I'm saving that for Galton. You can have this big bit.
That's amazing.
It's actually all right, isn't it?
Lovely.
Yeah, go on.
Thank you.
Crack on with that.
But it's not. I mean, you must have cooked with heather before. I mean, I've cooked it with lamb, and you take a little bit of hay, you put the heather and the hay in the bottom of the tray, put the leg of lamb on the top, roast it in the oven conventionally. It tastes really nice. Yeah, it's all good. Right, so we're doing kind of like a rum old-fashioned here, and I've probably put a little bit too much honey in, but
It'd be right, because you know what we can do with that, don't you?
Right.
Top it up with rum.
OK.
It'll just be a bit more of that, a bit more of that, a little bit for me. Crack on with that. Oh, you can pass that one over to...
Thank you.
His lordship.
There you go.
Right.
Thank you.
Tell you what, that's really nice, isn't it?
It's not bad, is it?
Rum's getting really trendy as well, right? So we got that. What is this then? What is this that we got in here?
All right, OK. So that is an alcoholic cordial. If you want to try it, well, I've just done your cocktail.
Do you make that like an elderflower cordial?
No, this has got vinegar in. So what you want is a bit of fermentation going on. All right, so yeah, it's a little bit of fermentation on, and then you've got your alcohol. It does go a bit fizzy after a while. OK, but it just adds a really nice mixer to things.
I'll bring this over here. We'll have a little we'll have a little taste of this while you're moving on.
Yeah.
To,
They serve that. You usually get that in a really dark bottle because it don't look so patent.
Right. OK. So, I love your way of selling stuff as well. So what is in this cake first before we move on to the rest of it?
Right. OK. I thought what I'll do is, because you use all expensive stuff, right? Yeah. I'm going cheap as chips, so we're doing economical cake. To be fair, there's no in it, really, OK? Yeah. It's your favourite margarine.
That's all right.
Is that all right, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, could you live with that?
Yeah.
You could live with that.
It's delicious, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit of vinegar works, though, doesn't it?
Yeah. Just cuts through.
That's all right.
Right. A little bit of yeast in that as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Bit of yeast.
Bit of yeast. Anyway, let's get on to this.
Can you imagine what your cupboards are like at home if you've got this big...
everything exploding.
I've moved it all into the barn.
Everything exploding.
Oh, no, I had a fridge blow up. I was watching telly last year, right, yeah, and I heard this massive explosion, and I thought there'd been a car crash outside on the road, but it wasn't, my fridge blowing up.
Yeah. And you call it fermentation.
Because what you need to do is you get these... If you go and get, like, water bottles... Yeah. Right, really cheap ones.
Here we go.
And then you leave about that much gap in it. You know, you think you're going to be all right, put in your fermented whatever is, you know, your elderflower cordials and your champagnes and all that kind of thing. But no, they blow up. And once one goes off, they all go off.
The rest of it.
Ooh, yeah, wonderful. And that's why champagne bottles are so expensive.
Right. So we got that. We've done our heather.
Right. You're just avoiding eating the cake.
No, I'm not. We're going to taste all that in a minute. But so season runs from when to when?
Right, OK, with heather, so we are looking...
When does it finish?
Yeah, July to, I would say, probably about end of September, beginning of October. Depends on your location. You know, the further down in the south you are in the country, that's when it'll go over first. And then, obviously, you're up in the Highlands of Scotland, you know, you got some fantastic heather territory.
It's interesting you say this, because the weather's been bad for the vegetables and everything else, the garden and everything else. Heather seems to have gone crazy. It's
absolutely mad, isn't it? And it's funny, really, because we're having a good bilberry year as well.
Right.
All right, and you would not think, with the amount of heat that we've had this year, that bilberries would be doing all right. Some years they drop off, some years they come through, and this year's been an absolute belter of a year.
And you only get bilberries up north, don't you?
No, actually, you get them down Dartmoor areas. So what you need is cotton grass. When you see cotton grass, and you go into the moors and you'll see this little piece of grass and it's got a little white tuft of cotton on top. Right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That tells you that it's subarctic. It will only grow subarctic. 50 yards down the road, it's not growing. When you see that, it's subarctic. So that's when you're going to get your best berries. All right? So it's these little visuals, isn't it? But bilberries, so they're called different names up and down country. You know what you were saying, do they only grow up north?
Yeah.
Not true.
So it's on moorlands then, because you get moorlands down south.
You can get them in woodlands, but it's predominantly moorland.
Yeah.
All right? So these are called wimberries and wayberries in different parts of the country. Did you know that?
I didn't know this, you see.
And in America...
Well, now we're talking.
Yeah. Do you know what they're called in America? It's going to get huckleberries.
Huckleberries.
Huckleberry Finn.
Is that what they are?
Yeah, in America, these are called huckleberries.
Right.
So that book, Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain, and a huckleberry in America means like an upstanding person with a little bit of magic sprinkled on him, a good friend to have. So that's why huckleberry in American slang's like a person, like, you know, a stand-up sort of person. So what we've done...
What's this tart, by the way?
So that's white chocolate and heather, honey, tart. OK, and what we've done in there is put a nice topping on that.
It's really nice.
Yeah? Is that all right, is it? No soggy bottoms on that, is there?
No, great thing about these, they can be sweet or savoury,
Don't look so surprised.
Yeah, that, I immediately think that with venison or something like that would work beautifully.
Yeah, that's circle of life. Circle of life on a plate. So if
Yeah.
you've got your game now, which can be quite cheap, can't it? By the way...
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you think of the
Your
economical?
economical cake.
Economical cake is good. It tastes better than it looks.
Yeah.
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 Tell us about these ones, this final bit. So what have we got in here? We've got a selection of bits and pieces. You've got these and these.
All right.
These all come from these two here. What have we got?
Right, OK. So what we got here is like a bakewell tart. So I made some buns that look minging, so I just put them on... They just look like a mess, right? Yeah. So I did these. I did these cases, right? And then I put some blackberry jam on bottom that I'd made, and then I put some like the sponge mix, and then I thought, well, I'll do it till it's right brown, and then put a bit of dusting powder on. That'll be right.
Right.
But that is a blackberry beer and chocolate cake. That is a belter.
So tell us about these then.
So we're full on blackberry season, and blackberries kind of like stagger themselves so they don't all ripen at the same time. So they'll start in August, and you can get them up to October, depending if you've got some decent spots to go blackberry.
Oh, look at this! Look at this!
That's proper cake.
Yeah. So you made it out of these ones?
Yeah, blackberries. OK. So, I mean, blackberry, shop-bought blackberry.
Yeah.
These are sweet. These are a little bit tart, but for cooking or generally, so I think you need a little bit of tartness. I don't want to overload on sugar because I think they breed a lot of the shop-bought ones for the sugar content as opposed to flavour.
Can I taste the difference? Give me one of each.
All right, OK. Right.
There is a massive difference, isn't there? There is a big difference in flavour.
There is
I mean, we've got a lot of these in by the roadside. So you've got to be really careful if you're going out picking this.
Yeah.
By the side of the roads.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it's not
by
just
the side of the roads. There's a lot. You're not.
Yeah, cars. Right.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science, is it?
I'll go in the proper hedgerows and get.
No, but a lot of.
Yeah, but you're going the proper hedgerows, right? Yeah, they're going to wrap round your legs. And here's the thing: thorns carry really nasty little diseases on the end of them. So make sure you got a tetanus jab before you do it. No, I'm serious. I've known people who've sort of like, the thorns have sort of like slipped into like a vein, and then they've sort of like had a bit of a shock from it and ended up down A&E. It wouldn't happen to me because I'm quite robust like that.
Right.
It takes a long time to get through to me.
There's a massive difference. There's a massive difference in the flavour between the hedgerow blackberries and the cultivated.
Because again, that lends itself to that circle of life on a plate, doesn't it? Yeah. You know, and it's like, right, what do you think of my beer stuff?
Yeah, exactly. So, what have you made? Tell us about this cake that you made in this. That you got this one.
Right, it's beer, blackberries, beer, and chocolate.
Best one yet.
Do you reckon?
Best one yet.
I have to do some right good cakes on here.
Best one yet.
Yeah, best cake we've ever had from Alicia.
Yeah.
No. Just drop the Alicia.
Then minging tarts.
Minging tarts. Right, it's beer. I thought you'd appreciate it because it's beer, right? So I think it's not bad.
Best one yet.
Do you like that?
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, you're not keeping it. I'm taking it home.
We have to put that recipe online though. That's really nice. People, honestly, they like this.
Would they?
It's really nice.
I know, because
that's a winner of a cake in a tent, is that?
I concur.
Exactly, that's what it is. Alicia, everybody.
Thank you.
It's delicious, that. Right, still to come, we'll be laying our lunch for my guest, Kim Wilde, and we took it into James Tanner's buttermilk chicken very shortly. But after the break, we've got a very special masterclass in honour of a very special chef. I'll see you after the break. Welcome back. Now I'll be treating Kim Wilde to aubergines, mozzarella and arrabbiata sauce very shortly, and Chef James Tanner will be working his magic in the kitchen next. But first, it's time for this week's masterclass, and this week's masterclass is a tribute to an absolute legend. He's one of the founding godfathers of British cooking, the late, great Alistair Little, who we sadly lost a few months ago. And this is one of his sort of dishes that I remember cooking when I was in one of his kitchens. Frith Street, this is the menu. That used to be there. So the late 80s, 90s, anybody around that time used to know that Frith Street was in a really buzzy place, really. And I was sort of in between jobs, working from Kensington, and then I moved to a later restaurant in Frith Street, and that wasn't open yet. So I ended up doing sort of week work experience placement, that kind of sort of thing, in sort of in my late teens, early 20s. At this restaurant. And this is one of the dishes, really. It was an amazing, amazing cook. Flavour was predominantly at the heart of all this. So the first thing, before we do anything, is I'm going to grab a glass of vino, as you do. I'm going to have this while I'm going to cook this amazing dish of calf's liver, onions and sage. All right? Now, to make this, quite simply, it's all about the quality of the ingredients. So the first thing we need to do is make the onion compote. And for that, you want plenty of onions. And what you do really with the onions is you cut these into rings, like that. Proper, full-on flavour. So no shallots, proper, full-on flavour with the onions. So you take these Slice them into rings like that. And the idea of these is we stew them for a long period of time. And by doing so, you increase the flavour. You get this amazing compote you can then flavour the sauce with, but other dishes as well. And it would sit in the fridge. So you take the onions like that. There we go. Lose that to one side. Pan on the heat. There we go. A good knob of butter. Margarine. Would never be used. This goes in there. And as well as sort of British cooking, it was sort of that Italian influence, because he loved the Italian sort of food as well. And it was later on I ended up working with him on Ready, Steady, Cook and all that kind of stuff. But this was the heart of his mentality in terms of cooking, proper cooking. A little bit of white wine, or you can use a touch of water, and that's it, really. And what you do is you just bring this to a gentle simmer, and it wants to be really, really gentle simmer. So to help them along, rather than do it like this, you need to put the lid on it. So pop the lid on, gently cook these now for about an hour. And what you end up with, after an hour, is what we got over here. Look at these stewed onions. Now, these would be then kept in the fridge if you wanted them, that kind of stuff, kept in the fridge from when you need them. Then, so we can put a pan on the heat now. I'll turn these onions off. We can now sort of preheat the pan for the main ingredient, calf's liver. Now, this appears sort of one big calf's liver. This is actually about a third of the size of a calf's liver. Calf's liver is big. What you can do, if you face the calf's liver like this, is you can take this little sinew off. So what you're going to do is just take the knife underneath, and we can just remove this sinew. I like to do this as and when I need it, really, more than anything else, but we're just going to remove that to one side like that to reveal this beautiful calf's liver. Now, it's one of these things, and I was talking to the crew about this morning, that it's one of these things, calf's liver, they've tried in a restaurant and never want to try again because it's been cooked badly. But trust me, if you've ever gone to Frith Street, nothing was cooked badly in that place. It was just an amazing, amazing gastronomic sort of capital, really. But this is one of the things you need to get right. You've got to understand of how we're going to cook this. So calf's liver, you want it crispy on the outside, and you want it pink in the middle. So there's a way we can get that and achieve that, and it's all about what happens in the pan in a minute. But it's also how you cut it. So if you get in this from your butcher, make sure when you speak to him, you want it not too thin. Because too thin, it'll cook very, very, very quickly. So, and too thick, you'll end up with sort of it raw in the middle, really. So make sure you're getting it about 4 mil thick, something like that. In modern money, I suppose. 4 mil thick. And we're going to trim that all up like that, straight the way through. So we've got this beautiful, beautiful calf's liver. It is absolutely delicious, this. So that can sit to one side. Now, what I've got on here is I've got a tray with some flour. And you want some seasoned flour. So salt and pepper. And then what we do is we take the calf's liver, like that, and we pop it in the seasoned flour. Now, this is going to help it in terms of crisp up. If you don't put it in the seasoned flour, you won't get that nice crispy sort of outside casing, which is what you want to impart the flavour into this while you're eating it as well. So a little bit of seasoned flour. This is just plain flour, a little bit of salt and pepper, like that. Just dust it off. Now we'll leave that to one side. Quickly wash our hands. And before I get proper cooking, I have to put an apron on for this bit, to be honest with you. So we'll stick this on, like that. So, what we need now is a nice hot pan. Not too hot, but sort of a medium to high heat. That's what we want. And we cook this in a combination of two things. One of which is butter, the other one is oil. And I use a little bit of sunflower oil for this, it's perfect. So, rather than all butter, which is going to burn, we use a combination of butter and oil. So, nice hot pan on the stove, a little bit of oil in the pan, like that. Little knob of butter. Now, you want to get this sort of butter just start foaming like this. But keep the pan on. Keep the pan heat on. It's not brown, first of all, but the liver's going to go in. Dust off the excess flour, like that. Now, at the same time now, we're going to crank up the heat of the pan because we want the liver to sort of brown as well. And this is where you get this beautiful nut brown colour to this. You can see this already forming in the pan. If it was just butter, it would be nut brown straight away and burnt. So that combination of oil and butter really works. While that's happening, get yourself a pair of tongs, regulate the heat a little bit. As this starts to cook now, and it starts to colour, we can then turn this over. You can see, look at that lovely colour on the liver there. Then once that's happening now, I can then add the sage. The sage leaves are going to go in. Now this was kind of the essence of his style of cooking. It was just the simplicity of it. It really, he's one of the people that brought, I think, UK food on the culinary map, really. It was that sort of time in the late 80s, 90s, where food in terms of London, in terms of around the globe, the respect for food in London was just going through the roof. So what you want to do is take this liver out now, look, because this is now cooked. It's that quick. But also what we're going to do is we're going to take this sage, so we don't want to put the raw sage on it, we need to cook it out a little bit. So take these lovely sage leaves, and we sprinkle those on the top. Like that. There's another chef called Fergus Henderson in St. John's. That's another place you've got to go to experience that this kind of food. It's pure natural food. It's fantastic. So a little bit of liver, just leave that to one side. That'll quite happily continue to cook and rest. That's the important thing. If you overcook it in the pan, it's going to be properly overcooked over there. So leave it like that and leave it to rest. And this pan now, we're going to make our little sauce with the confit onions. So for that, I need a bit of white wine. I need some white wine vinegar. And I need some stock, chicken stock. So what we do first of all is deglaze the pan. This, again, is the essence. We're losing no flavour. It's all in the same pan. A little bit of white wine. Touch of vinegar. This is where vinegar is so important with liver. Cuts through that sort of taste of liver. It just cuts through the flavour. It's brilliant. Touch of that. A little bit of stock. A little bit of chicken stock. And what we're going to do is bring this all together. I remember doing this, really, and you would get the gubbins from the pan, and you turn this up a bit, so you're getting all the bits from the liver from it as well. Beautiful. As it starts to reduce down. Now, as it's reducing down, we can grab our onions. Look at these. Our confit onions. Like that. Put those in as well. All the while, you're increasing the flavour now with everything else. And then what we do is we can take this liver back and just pop it back into our pan. Like that. I mean, that's just almost a photograph as it is, just like that. But don't waste anything. Take all of our lovely juice. Leave that to one side. And then all we can do is turn our attention to a mash. Now, what I've done with the potatoes is just put them through a ricer. That's the important bit. With these, so you get them lovely and smooth. And then slowly you start to add a combination of either milk and cream and a little bit of butter. And, of course, olive oil if you wanted to. But on and off the heat so that it doesn't burn. And this starts to come together like that. So you've got this beautiful mashed potato, which is looking pretty good at the moment. I'm happy with that. That looks good to me. So while we're doing that, this can be then plated. Yourself a nice plate. But then we can grab our mash, and you see when you get this lovely mashed potato like that. Oh. Bit of that. We've got our liver and onions. And this is what it was. The simplicity of it is the key. And you've got this beautiful, beautiful sauce with the onions with it as well, with that sage. And I urge you to sort of go online, get one of Alistair's old cookbooks as well. And whether they're from the 80s, 90s, or stuff that he did more recently, they're all still relative. The food is just epic. But remember, little hints and tips about the sauce, that little vinegar works a treat. But there you have it. Alistair Little's version, and a very special version of calf's liver, sage and onion. Proper dish, that. There you have it. Done. Right. Time for a quick break now, but join me again in a couple of minutes when another ready, steady cook mate of mine, Mr. James Tanner, will be back here in the kitchen. I'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Now, we're cooking a delicious plate of grilled aubergines for my guest, Kim Wilde, shortly. But first, I'm here with a chef whose restaurant empire stretches from the Garden of England to the South Devon coast. It's Mr. James Tanner. Yes. Good to see you, boss. Good to see you as well.
Good to be back.
What are you going to be doing? Because this dish looks right up my street.
I thought you'd like this one. It's buttermilk chicken tenders with street corn, a bit Mexican inspired.
Street corn.
Yeah, street corn.
Okay.
And then we're going to do. I'm giving the recipe away now. My Peruvian green sauce.
OK, giving it away.
Which I love it. Yeah,
okay.
I've done it for years, and we'll go over that bit in a bit.
So give us the chicken bit. What's the chicken bit first?
So we're using chicken tenders.
Yeah.
Call them chicken fillets. Let's state they're chicken tenders. It's chicken fillets, basically. If you don't want to buy them, you can just get a chicken breast, skinless chicken breast, and obviously slice it into strips. Okay. Works just as well. But what you do need to do with it is buttermilk. Okay. Buttermilk tenderises it and it adds great flavour. And we're going to enhance that flavour with a bit of spices.
So tell us about the spices and bits and pieces that go in this
OK,
first.
right. So we've got, obviously, our buttermilk. Then we've got some garlic salt. Yeah. Also, a little bit of pepper goes in there as well. Yeah. But not just black pepper, cayenne pepper. And then I like smoked paprika for a little bit of smokiness. All right. OK, so basically, put the, obviously, the buttermilk onto the chicken.
Now, you say tenderise it. Although you're using the little chicken tenders over here, you can do this with chicken thighs as well.
Oh, 100%.
Because if you leave it in there for 24, 48 hours, it just tastes like that anyway.
Yeah, basically. And, you know, like you said, chicken thighs, chicken drumsticks, that kind of thing. Or even cut a chicken for sauté and then put it in there. Right, so we're going to go in with about half a teaspoon of garlic salt. Yeah. Just under on the cayenne. And then back to half on the paprika. Yeah. And then black pepper, cracked. Salt, quite generous, James, on the salt. Well, I say quite generous, it's just a teaspoon compared to, like, half a teaspoon, so it's not massively generous, is it? But, you know. Now, as you can see...
Fast forward, because that's my dinner later.
Lovely.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah.
Very welcome.
I shall just put that in my fridge.
So, here we got
I'm not kidding either.
Here we got one that's bee marinated. You see the spices are bled out into the buttermilk, and that's what you want. Yeah. And now this is the crust element. Yeah. Now, yeah, you could deep fry this if you wanted to, but we're going to shallow fry it. Yeah. OK? And so I'm just mixing all them spices in.
I'll do that so you don't have to get your hands dirty.
Lovely. Right, now, a lot of people are like, oh, you're going to drain this and scrape everything off?
No, you take...
No. You actually... when I do it, and this is what James is going to do in a moment, you're going to put a little bit of the mixture in it, and then it creates... It basically creates you like bitty, floury clumps, but you want them because they stick to the outside and give you that more authentic. Yeah. So as James just did then, he flicked a bit in there, that's what you want, and that's how you get that authentic crust. Yeah. Right, in the meantime, while you're doing that, here, we've got some, obviously, corn cobs, but these have been boiled for about 10 minutes. They've got a lot of crispness to them. I don't want it too soft at all. I've just happened to have this handy barbecue here.
It just happens to be in here, doesn't it, really?
I know. Yeah. Brilliant. We're just going to put a tiny bit of colour on the outside. You don't necessarily need to put loads of oil on it at all. I quite like that charred effect on there. And
so tell me about your restaurants then, because big celebration this year, bib gourmand.
Yeah, well, we kept it. I've had it a year.
I know, exactly.
We've had it a year.
Well, I say getting one's hard enough. No, keeping it equally hard.
We didn't want to rush into it. It only took 23 years.
Exactly. But keeping it's the great achievement.
No, yeah. I mean, it's great, and it's it's all about teamwork and what the crew do there and everything. And we're very hands-on. And but we're very open with menu ideas, food.
So you say we. It's you and your brother, isn't it?
Well,
really?
I'm saying it like we're just ignoring all these cameras and that we're actually on TV at the moment. But yeah, it's myself and my brother Chris. Yeah. So we're 23 years in, and obviously we've got the two sites, and yes, they are, some miles apart.
Yeah, but, they certainly are.
Well, I'm up and down past your house every week, really.
Yeah,
But yeah, so it's really good. Two very different business concepts, and but same suppliers and same base foods. Yeah. So yeah, so it's all good. Right, don't smoke me out too much.
I just smoke it a little bit. But it's all good.
OK.
So tell us about this green sauce you're about to give away.
Here we go. So I've got myself a blender. We got some jalapenos. Now, obviously, of course, this is going to add heat to the sauce, but this is what it's about. It's not overpoweringly hot, though. I must stress that, OK?
Yeah.
We've got coriander. So jalapenos, coriander, and the coriander is so simple. Look, you actually use the stalks as well. The stalks are the best bit. That's the leaves, the perfumey bit.
But that's the thing with all this, you want to use everything.
Yeah, definitely. But this really helps the body of the sauce as well. OK, now, this stuff, when I say this stuff, Amarillo paste.
See, I've fallen in love with this over the summer.
I love it. It's so
nice. First show back, somebody's using it. You must have done the same. It's just...
Behold.
It's
fantastic. To be honest, I make this by the bucket for pub in the park, so it's not one of my dishes, so yeah.
So this, I mean, tell us about the chilli itself.
Right, so obviously a South American chilli. Yeah. And some are roasted and then skinned and pulsed, and it gives you this lovely sauce. Now, this has got a kick, obviously, but what I find is, and when you taste this, it gives it a bit of warmth. And when I mean warmth, I don't mean in temperature, I mean background heat. And
it's amazing flavour, don't it?
Yeah, exactly that.
You mentioned pub in the park festivals. You've been, not just that, you've been taking your sort of restaurant concept that you've got and putting it out to different venues as well, haven't you, Ree?
Yeah.
Why have you been doing that? Something new, something different?
It's, no, I mean, you know, very fortunate. It's been great to be asked, but I was back at, you know, after COVID and everything, back at Royal Ascot, 2 restaurants this year, which is fantastic. Love that. We're doing... Well, I'm doing the Wentworth Golf, PGA Golf, as well, restaurant there.
That's great.
So I'm no good at golf.
How do you find that cooking sort of the demands of doing that on location? They're quite difficult, aren't they? Very different to restaurants. No. You've got to be super organised.
No, big time. Yeah, you've got to get your ordering set up. Also, you know, your health and safety. Yeah. All different aspects. Sorry, right. I'm going to put the cheese in. And now we've got a touch of mayonnaise in there as well. And this is where really the sauce does come together.
All right, mayonnaise in.
Yeah.
OK.
On with the lid.
But the base is still,
that's the background. Basically, warmth, heat, citrusy back note from obviously the lime, and the acidity of the vinegar. Yeah. But we keep it going. OK. And now that it's got going, we're going to add the remainder of the coriander.
Well, this chicken's looking really good. Like you say, you want a couple of minutes each side.
It smells good.
It smells all right, doesn't it? In there.
OK.
If you're cooking this, by the way, if you're going to do this with chicken thighs, chicken legs, drop the temperature rate down, obviously. Yeah. It's going to take a little bit longer. It takes about a good 10 minutes to cook it all the way through.
Right, OK. Now, the corn's looking fantastic, so we're almost at that time. Now, this, I don't know if you've ever tried this combination, right? And you
this is for the corn?
Yeah, you might think, what is he doing? But the flavour is unreal. It's unreal, like, really good.
OK.
So, we get 2 trays. We get Parmesan. Or, if you get the Mexican cheese, remember, there's 2 types, though. You've got to go for the aged one. So, I'm just doing enough for a couple. But this combination is such winner-winner. I've done this for years, not just at home, I've done this on an events as well, but it's a good one, you know, like when my daughter was little, used to get her to roll the corn cobs and everything. It's just, get the kids involved and all that's all good. But this is a bit of a different alternative, especially when it's warm. Can I nick your cloth?
Yeah.
So it's just nice to eat. OK, so this is looking good. That's the colour I want. I'm going to, straight into that one. Right, James, can I... Actually, I've got clean hands, look. So you go over with the go over with the sweet chilli.
You just know that this is going to be good, though, don't you? That's the thing.
I'm getting mildly excited.
Right. You know what that one's? It under the grill for seconds.
Oh. I think the natural heat from your barbecue's doing that for us. We're good. Right, OK, so I've got my dipping pot ready. Go on then, James. Hit me with another one.
That rolls around in there.
Yeah. Lovely.
These are... I mean, you just know that these are going to be delicious, aren't they, these?
Right.
Well, why not? Now, this is just normal sweet chilli jam that you just get from the supermarket.
Sweet chilli sauce.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
But the response on people's faces when they eat it, I love it. And it does taste great. I had a variation of this years ago in Mexico, and, you know, beautiful as it was, I was like, how can I replicate it? And I was doing a barbecue at home one day, and I had parmesan in and a sweet chilli sauce in the cupboard. But ever since then, I've done it like it. It's lovely. OK, so, look, the sauce is looking great. Just going to have a little quick taste test, so just grab a spoon.
There you go. Do you want me to pile these on here?
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great.
So these are the chicken that we just left. Oh, it's just come out, let them drain off a little bit. But you can see that, what James is talking about, when you sort of almost double dip, you take that sort of buttermilk and you get the sort of bitty bits. This is proper grub, mate.
Yeah, we're not messing around, are we?
You're not coming back. This is you coming back.
So with the sauce, obviously, you know, I could stand there and start flicking it all over the top, but I really don't need to do that. I was just about to cut. Look at this, he's all over it.
I anticipate that happening.
A few lime wedges. You squeeze over the corn and the chicken just to add to the flavour.
So give us the name of this dish then.
I think that's it. That is my buttermilk chicken tenders with street corn and Peruvian green sauce.
Start the series as we're about to go on. Proper grub. Check that out.
Yeah,
start the chicken. Let's have a dive of the chicken. So this dressing, this looks. That's not right, is it? That's wrong on every level, is that? It's right on every level, but it's also wrong on every... that dressing is everything that I thought it would be.
I love it.
How good is that?
I know.
I'm going to eat that, but... Mr. James Tanner, everybody.
Thank you.
While I eat this, you do this link.
Oh, OK. Right, well, we've still got time for one final course, so join us again after the break when me and James here will be going to be rustling up a show-stopping dish for Kim Wilde and Galton Blackiston. Don't miss it.
Welcome back, sadly, to the last part of the show. There you go. That was better than last time, wasn't it? Anyway, right, we're back in the kitchen with my guests, Kim Wilde, chefs Galton, Blackiston and James Tanner! Wonderful to have you back. Stick around all day. So anyway, what we're going to do is this. I love this dish. Aubergine parmesan.
Nice.
Arrabbiata sauce, really, really simple. So it's starting off, you're going to give me a hand, actually.
I am,
The two Jameses in the kitchen. It's nice to be cooking together now,
Come
isn't it,
on,
really?
come on, James.
Exactly. So we're going to be cooking together. And we're going to do this little arrabbiata sauce. So the first thing, we've got plenty of olive oil. So stick a good glug of olive oil in there. We're going to take the garlic and just crush it. That's it. You want a decent amount of olive oil. And then what we're going to do is throw the garlic in like that, and then starting off with a little bit of fresh basil. We're going to put that in there. And then, as this starts to warm up, which won't take very long, we've got some tinned Italian tomatoes. And all we're going to do is just whack this in there. And I'm going to get my assistant, my commis chef, to then keep his eye on that and start stirring that while that cooks. And then we're going to prepare the aubergines as well. So, Kim, 40 years in the music business. 40 years in the music business. Those people who are just waking up, about to go on the road again.
Yeah.
But not just in the UK, you're about to travel around Europe. Tell us about the UK bit first.
The UK bit starts on the 10th of September. We finish on the 27th. Come and see us. We're just going to have so much fun going through 40 years of my career and singing lots of songs, having lots of... bringing lots of memories back, I guess.
Still get the same buzz that you always have?
I get the same buzz. I love singing, James. That's the thing. When you love playing guitar, I love singing. I just love it. And my voice has got stronger as I've got older, as as my father says, actually. I mean, he's 83 and he's still singing beautifully. I mean, really beautifully.
I love the fact that your dad's still playing as well. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we got...
He plays Chroma sometimes, where your lovely restaurant is. Yeah.
Everybody goes to Chroma sometimes, you know.
Of course they do.
It's whether they go back is another thing. But anyway... I'm joking.
Great crabs in Chroma.
Exactly. Look, we've got our sauce ticking away now. That's just going to cook for about sort of 8 to 10 minutes. Just leave it simmering away like that. Meanwhile, with the aubergines, plenty of olive oil again, and we're going to start pan-frying these aubergines. I'm going to season it afterwards as well. So while these aubergines are cooking, shall we remind ourselves a little bit about one of the most successful tracks you've ever done? Have a listen to this. So the tour, you're doing how many dates in the UK now?
I'm going to be doing 11. Greatest hits. It's going to be so much fun. I feel like I really need to remember to plug this because I'm getting very distracted by all the fabulous things you're doing in your kitchen.
There's some nice flavours going on here.
All I really want to know is how you browned that aubergine over there.
Really hot pan. That's the key to it as well.
Very hot pan.
Lots of oil. It's like a sponge, and it really soaks it up.
Yeah.
I think the temptation
so
is...
no butter then? You don't put butter in it?
No, don't put. It's just olive oil this. I can't believe I'm doing, first show back and I'm not using butter for this one. I know. Yeah, I don't know, but...
No butter then, definitely.
So two slices of aubergines per person, there we go. And it's a good idea, like James is doing, to put it out on a tray, because what happens with the aubergines, doesn't it? They soak it up and then they just dunk it out.
Yeah, big time.
So amazing if you deep fry them as well. If you just take aubergines, cut them up in chunks and deep fry them as they are, take them out a little bit of salt, they just taste amazing.
Gorgeous, yeah, tempura type style.
Exactly. But you can't get time to cook, can you really? Do you get time to cook?
I only cook in the winter. Generally summer's about, you don't have to do much to vegetables. In fact, the least you do, the better.
Yeah.
And, so in the summer, I might roast a chicken or do something with the salmon, but the rest is like literally what I find in the garden. So at the moment, I'm growing kale and I've got some lovely mixed lettuce and... I've got some courgettes.
We mentioned gardening, but your garden design as well is a big thing for you as well.
I love that.
Award-winning. We touched on it. Well, you did. No, it's true, though. It's true.
I did. It was an unbelievable thing to be at Chelsea.
How do you find that? Because I always find it fascinating with garden design. But how do you picture the end thing? Because, when you're growing stuff at home and you plant stuff and it just looks like this little thing, how do you see the end?
Well, you have to, you have a plan, but I think if you're smart and if you're wise, you kind of realise that plants will have their own say about that. You have to be very flexible about what's going on out there. You have to be a little bit involved in designing yourself, but very informed about what's actually happening in the garden. Where you want to look. Where the sun is, more importantly. Sure. So it's some very basic things that. If you get the basics right, you can't go wrong.
We're all looking at each other, all veg gardens at the bottom of the garden going, not too sure about that one. But it's always a bit of hit and miss with me. Cauliflowers, I can't do anything with. I've given up.
No, never really.
But in Norfolk...
it's been so difficult because of the dry conditions. We have a gardener at Morstan and he's just pulling his hair out because it's just like a dust bowl.
But in terms of, you look at all the veg and stuff like that for Norfolk. It's amazing what you can grow in a field, but when you try and plant it in your garden at home, I urge everybody to plant your own stuff, and
because it does taste so different.
And I think having one in the kitchen as well for the restaurant, I think it teaches cooks, it teaches chefs to appreciate veg a lot more and appreciate ingredients a lot more because you realise how difficult it is to grow. And
but
to
also, you don't eat enough generally in your diet, not really. It's a really healthy thing to do because it makes you eat more healthily.
We'll talk about eat more. This is a low-calorie version of aubergine parmesan. We've only got three balls of mozzarella on it.
Put some butter on it.
So, what do you mean put some butter on it? The Italians will go crazy if I start putting butter on it. But we've got a little bit more mozzarella on it. Mozzarella and parmesan, and heap it all up like that, and then we're going to take the whole lot, and chuck it under a hot grill. So this is going to go on the hot grill. It takes about 2 minutes. Meanwhile, over this, with this sauce...
Smells incredible. This just beautiful.
It's not a bad dish, this.
It's so simple, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Few ingredients. Yeah. Beautiful.
And then we're almost ready to plate it. So that goes on there. Another one on there. See, I like that when the sauce is a little bit split. So, being you're my kitchen elf, can you just check to see if that aubergine's all right in the oven? Is that right?
This recipe dates back a bit as well,
no,
doesn't
it's
it?
burnt.
It's not burnt.
No, you're right. little bit longer, just a tad longer.
What do you mean it dates back a bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's my point being...
Right, what's your point?
This has been back from the 80s.
Yeah.
Hasn't it?
A bit of
This sort of dish.
arrabbiata.
Well, I was thinking about... I was going to do chicken Kiev, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like chicken
Scampi in a basket.
Nice.
And you could have gone right back to the 80s.
Yeah.
You know? But I thought... Well, some of it's in the 70s, but I thought, this is just lovely as it is. And then you take your aubergine...
Beautiful. Look at that.
Look at that.
Gorgeous.
I tell you. Take a little bit of that.
He doesn't do small portions, does he? Look at him. Look at him.
Well, yours, to be honest with you, the portion size that you brought about enough for about 400 portions out of a lobster. But I like to feed people, Galton.
I think you do.
You know?
That's why we've got a big James, little James.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Right, so we just put our lovely bit of aubergines on there. Now, if you want to garnish that with a little bit of basil, you can do.
Yep.
I'll let you do that. But there we have it. My version of a classic aubergine parmesan. So, less is more, chef, less is more.
No, just needs that bit there. There we go.
So it looks so much better now. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
So there we have it. My version of a little aubergine parmesan. Done. Dish done. Kim, there we have it. Aubergine parmesan. Galton, you get yours.
Thank you.
James T, you get yours.
Come on. Lovely.
I have nothing.
You want some?
No, I'm fine.
It has some of mine. This is quite a large portion, James.
Yeah, it's good.
Mmm.
Nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice.
I just think it's so simple.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah?
Yeah, really nice.
It's happy with that? It's good.
Oh, yeah, I am. It's all about that seasoning in the sauce, I think, James. Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's all we've got time for today. A massive thank you to my guests, Wilma Finley, Galton Blackiston, James Tanner, and, of course, my fabulous guest, Kim Wilde. Good luck with the tour. We'll see you back same time next Saturday morning. We'll be joined by more top chefs, other fabulous guests. Until then, take care, stay safe. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you at my house next Saturday. Bye for now.